This is not really Geoff core, so I can imagine Geoff's reaction to some of this.
Here we go.
The vibe of this EP is kind of a mix of like Lumineers, Hey Ho, folksy vibes with like 90s pop punk.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about like one song that's in each of those kind of lanes. Okay. The first one is very much not Geoff core. It's the first track on the EP. It's called Strange Taxidermy.
I don't like that already. You know how I feel about taxidermy.
It's about Old Billy, who, if you don't know, this is a bit of a sidebar. This is the oldest horse that ever lived. And it's like actually like pretty emotionally moving, which is crazy to say about a song that's about a horse. But give it a listen. You know, we'll put a clip in as always.
Wow, you were not a horse girl growing up, and it shows. Justin said, "No, My Little Pony."
I'm mostly talking to you because I know that you are like, what the fuck? I can see it in your face. I know it because of who you are as a person.
This is an accusation that I fully reject.
So you love the Lumineers, is what you're telling me.
Well.
You are a regular guy. You know what it means to be you. Justin.
Won't you join me for a little stroll through the slice of paradise I like to call the town where I currently am? Geoff.
And welcome to Bants. Geoff.
Justin.
How you doing? Are you braving the cold out there?
I am surviving. Mm-hmm. This year's already so bad. The weather.
Not thriving.
The government, the deaths that have personally affected me as of late. It's been a tough start to 2026. I was with our friend Anna. Well, I don't need to say our friend. I always do this. I'm starting to do what you do all the time, as if people listening don't know us.
You got to treat every episode like it's our first episode for the new listeners out there.
I'm not doing it. They can jump in and they'll understand. They'll get it from context clues. Anyways, I was with Anna the other day. We both had kind of bad days, and we're like, should we just have like a trash dinner? And we did. We went out to Chili's for trash dinner. And we did like the special, you get like the $20 and you each get like your entree, a shared appetizer.
Yeah, what's it called? I'm trying to think of the name. I can't remember.
3 for me.
Loves that. Yes, 3 for me.
That's 3 for me. It was great. So we had like a trash dinner and just commiserated. And Anna just looked at me like at a pause in the conversation during our dinner. And she was like, 2026 just isn't our year. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm resigned to this.
Late January. It's January.
Although when this comes out, it'll be the first couple days of February.
True. Actually, today is February 1st.
So wait, it is February 1st today.
Welcome to the new month.
Welcome to this month.
I would like to call this the month of Charlie because we got a couple of Charlie-focused episodes coming out this month, which I'm excited about.
There are so many. There's a lot of Charlie content swirling around in the conversation in the zeitgeist right now.
Yeah, and we love to see it as a Charlie Stan podcast. Yeah.
It sure is.
We were talking a lot of shit about this winter storm last episode, and we were like, oh, everybody's going to the grocery store and buying all the milk and eggs and stuff. Yeah. And it actually kind of was bad. I mean, we didn't like lose power here in DC, but like the sidewalks are so fucked up, and DC just cannot do snow removal.
Oh, please, neither can Connecticut, because I just had lunch with my friend Allie, listener Allie, who lives in West Hartford, and she drove down and we met up for lunch yesterday, and she was like, the roads are as bad down here as they are at home. She's like, I figured like for sure you guys would be better because we got a little less snow. No, it's cow paths on the sidewalks. There are mounds of snow probably 8 to 10 feet high on every street corner. You cannot see around it. People are flying around here like it's Grand Theft Auto, New London County, and they're just like flipping around the curves. I'm like, dude, you can't see anything. And every lane is like 1.5 cars wide at best. At best. It's crazy.
Just another reason why New York City is the best city in the world. Like their snow removal capabilities, unmatched.
They get it together. But I have to say, Subway floods so often.
That is true.
What about in the summer? All those pools of water that are inexplicably present on the ground and filled with like, they're all black and brown, and they never dry.
Geoff, this is a New York City Stan podcast, okay? I was trying to hype up the city. Mom Donnie's there.
I am.
He's our man. He's our guy. And you're over here talking shit.
He's our man. He's our guy. Isn't that a song?
Is it?
He's our man. He's our guy. Something. Da-da-da-da.
Are you just thinking of like a cheerleader chant? Like a cheer?
I could be. M-A-N. Well, you get it.
I get the idea, yeah. Geoff, what do you say we get into some
hot
topics? And to begin, I have a question for you. Because I actually don't know. This is a real question. This is not a Justinism.
You're not posing. You're not posturing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Did you watch the show Jury Duty on Freevee, which is like this obscure free streaming service?
I did. Well, it's owned by Amazon Prime.
Geoff, I loved that show. I think that might be like one of the most underrated shows of the last few years. Do you want to explain the premise of the show so that listeners who haven't seen it can like know what we're talking about here?
I surely do. Okay. So the premise of Jury Duty is that there is a group of actors and improvisers who are given like no real script and just an outline of things that are going to happen in this series. And they are all supposed to pose as jury members, a judge, lawyers, witnesses, and there's one person who receives a summons and believes that they're actually going to be serving jury duty and that they're being followed by a documentary film crew about like the process of being, a juror in the United States. And so this one person doesn't know everybody else is an actor. So they put them in situations and give them like insane, zany characters to play. And this one person who in the first season, spoiler maybe, Ronald does not understand that he is like actually being pranked this entire show.
Yeah.
Did that explain it well? I feel like that doesn't.
I think you did. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, so another way to frame this is that this one guy receives a jury summons and he's told that he is going to be a part of a documentary film that is focused on the jury in this trial, right? It's trying to capture this trial like for posterity, right? It's about the normal like judicial process. That's what the documentary is allegedly about. What he doesn't know is that every single other person in the jury, the defendant, the lawyers, the judge are paid actors.
Right.
And they're given like the most absurd things to do. And of course, the regular person who's just like a normal everyday guy off the street reacts to it in a genuine way on camera. So it's honestly like one of the most innovative changes or approaches in TV that I can remember like in my lifetime. It's like a combination of reality television and like The Office, like mockumentary filmmaking. And it's also like a logistical miracle that they were able to pull it off without him figuring it out.
It really is.
It's insane. If you haven't seen the first season, it's absolutely wild. And after it aired, I was like, there's no way they can do this again because once this is out in the world,
cat is out of the bag.
Right. Like anybody who's in a jury situation that's like similar to this, they'll be like, this cannot possibly be real. This has got to be Jury Duty season 2. Cut to today.
Yeah, right.
Jury Duty season 2 has been announced and it's called Jury Duty Presents Company Retreat. And Geoff, I'm so excited for this show.
It's going to be great.
This is an ingenious idea. It's dropping on March 20th with 3 episodes. Followed by 2 episodes on the following week, March 27th, and then a 3-episode finale on April 3rd.
I am so excited.
And this season will follow a corporate offsite event at a family-owned hot sauce company from the perspective of Anthony, a recently hired temporary worker. And Anthony is the guy in this season that has no idea that everyone around him is a paid actor. So he's been recently hired by this hot sauce company and is attending this company retreat. Listen, I don't know if listeners have been at a company retreat or anything similar to this, but crazy shit always happens there. And I think this is a great idea for season 2, and I'm so excited to watch this.
It really is a perfect premise for this because it puts this new hire in a position that Ronald had, which is Ronald has never served jury duty before and didn't really know what to expect. And like when anybody joins a new company, they like have an idea of what things are going to be like and what their role is going to be like and what the people are going to be like. But those expectations are generally always like turned on their head within the first couple of weeks of employment. So I think this is like kind of perfect because we're going to get real time genuine reactions out of this person, which for me was part of the one of the most fun parts about the show.
I will say, one of the things that was truly great about the first season of Jury Duty was just Ronald as like a guy. Like it was an extremely heartwarming show because like all of these actors, improvisers around him. And let me say, the talent of the improvisers also was insane. Like the ability that they had to, on the spot, just change the performance, it's excellent. It's like
turn the wig around.
It's the final boss of improv. Do you know what I mean? To like,
well, I certainly do.
Actually be doing improv in a real life scenario. But Ronald was just like a really good guy who was trying to help all of these like strange characters through whatever issues they were having. Right.
He was just like
a good person.
Yeah.
There was like some calls. I remember the year that show came out to like give him the Emmy for Best Actor.
Yeah.
Which is like wild because I guess in a way, there's a lot of questions that go into like, what is acting? Like, what is a television show? What is reality TV versus performance? So yeah, it's just an incredible concept. But I wonder about if Anthony can possibly, this new guy, this new like one real person, if he can possibly stand up to Ronald.
Yeah, I think that casting has a huge challenge in doing exactly that, as finding a new stand-in for Ronald, somebody who seems as good-natured, as kind, and as charming.
Right.
But
yeah.
That's one person to cast. I bet that they found a good person. I don't think that they would roll this out with somebody who was like cynical or who was like unlikable or who didn't want to interact with the improvisers, because those interactions are some of the best parts of the show.
Yeah, I agree. And I wonder like if they had false starts where they hired people and it didn't work out, or like they figured it out too fast, or they made a mistake. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I would love to know more about like the actual behind the scenes making of it. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, in the first season, like the final episode, it's hard. I'm not spoiling the plot of the show, obviously, but in the final episode, they kind of do go a little bit behind the scenes and they show like how they pulled this off.
Right.
And it's also like great because there's like a combination of performance and improv here, because they did like record certain scenes with the improvisers without Ronald there, just for like the sake of the audience to see something and get a gag. You know what I mean? So it's this ingenious combination of like scripted improvisational comedy and reality TV. It's really just like one of the best shows of the last few years, for sure.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Also, I hope that they find a way to bring Lisa Gilroy back on. She's like one of my favorite comedians ever. She's funny in everything. So talented. I can't believe she's still not a huge A-list star, but I hope she gets another shot to be like on this show, because she was so great as the social media influencer Genevieve Telford Warren.
She's so funny. I think she's a little bit too big to even be on jury duty now. Like, people would recognize her.
I hope so, because I want her to be extremely famous. She's so funny. I love her and everything. I love watching her on Take Your Shoes Off, on Comedy Bang Bang, and on Very Important People.
Yes. Incredible. So yeah. Also, really quick, because this is kind of a bonus what's good, because I just love the show so much, but James Marsden is on the first season of Jury Duty as like a real asshole version of himself, in I think like an Emmy-worthy performance. Like he was funny.
Very good.
And I kind of hope that they bring that bit back a little bit with season 2, where maybe they have a celebrity speaker or something that everybody kind of knows, and maybe some shit goes down with a celebrity speaker.
That would be
I think that would be very funny.
People sleep on James Marsden's comedy skills and forget that he was excellent as Liz Lemon's love interest in the last 2 seasons of 30 Rock.
Yes,
he was very
30
funny.
Rock. Yeah, he's hilarious. He's underrated actor in general, I think.
I agree.
And small sidebar, we didn't talk about the X-Men Avengers Doomsday trailer featuring James Marsden.
I have not seen it.
The only one of the 4 teasers that got me a little bit hype, because I do think that his Cyclops in the X-Men films was always kind of an underdeveloped character.
By underdeveloped, you mean overdressed, because he was so hot. I wanted to see him taking his clothes off, baby. Ooh. You can keep that little headgear on. Keep on your visor, Cyclops, but take everything else off. Leave it at the dough. Leave it at the dough, baby.
That was the only teaser where I was like, okay, maybe I'm a little bit hyped for this movie. It looks pretty sick.
I would love to see this teaser, because I don't think I've been excited at all about anything Marvel related in a very long time.
I'll send it to you quickly and you can
give
it a quick watch live.
Oh, a live watch.
A few minutes later.
Okay, how fun. And then they have a countdown. All right, Justin, I could be excited for Avengers Doomsday, because that casting,
yeah, they're bringing everybody back for sure.
It's interesting. They didn't bring the X-Men into the Avengers shit at all in the past. Why is that?
Well, yeah, that's partially because of corporate. So for a long time, Fox, before they had merged into Disney, had the rights to the X-Men films. So that's why the original X-Men film trilogy with James Marsden, Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, why they were Fox films. And then when Disney started making the Marvel films, they could not get the rights to the X-Men.
Yes.
Until they bought Fox. And then once they bought Fox, that's when stuff like Deadpool and Wolverine started getting made. And then we were able to kind of mash up characters from the MCU with the X-Men characters. And now that it's been a few years and they've had the time to kind of develop this multiverse thing, they're bringing the X-Men in with the Avengers, I think. So there's a lot of speculation that these two new X-Men films, or these two new Avengers films, excuse me, are going to be kind of like X-Men versus Avengers, where maybe we have like the Fox X-Men fighting against some of the MCU Avengers. And then maybe in the end they team up.
I wonder if they have like a lot of the original cast coming in, of X-Men.
They do, yeah. It's been confirmed.
Halle Berry?
I don't think Halle Berry, but I might be wrong. I'm not sure if Storm is coming back. I know that the original actress who played Mystique is coming back. And obviously, Wolverine. I'm forgetting the guy's name for some reason.
Hugh Jackman?
Hugh Jackman. Yeah.
Hugh Jackman. What about Anna Paquin? She was in that, right? The original one?
Let me look it up. There's so many people in that
There's
cast
so many
right now.
people in it. Yeah.
Kelsey Grammer, who played Beast.
Wait, Kelsey Grammer played Beast?
Yeah, in the original X-Men trilogy.
I do not remember this.
Alan Cumming, who played Nightcrawler, is coming back.
Oh, of course. That's a great casting. Rebecca Romijn, she was Mystique.
Yes. Yep.
Damn. James Marsden, Obvi. Scott Summers. Channing Tatum. I didn't know that he was in that.
He had like a cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine. This is like, okay, here's where the worry comes in.
Yeah.
Is because at some point, if you have just so many characters, it's like you can't possibly
like do them all justice.
Honor each of these characters. Like it's just not possible. So I'm not sure. The teaser made me excited. That's the only one of the four that really got me hype was the X-Men one. The other ones, I'm still very skeptical of the film, to be clear. But
okay. Well,
hoping for the best, expecting the worst, right?
I understand that. I do hope that Famke Janssen comes back, though. She was great as Jean Grey. Scott's love interest. Cyclops, James Marsden, Famke Janssen.
Is it okay to spoil like old X-Men films that came out 20 years ago? Because didn't she die?
I do believe so. But this is a fantasy thing. They can all come back.
Yeah, there's multiverses. It'll be fine.
Multiverse of it all. The snap.
I'm sure we'll get like a Dark Phoenix nod somewhere there.
We love that. Okay, well, that's very fun.
That's Jury Duty season 2.
Oh, right.
That's what we were talking about.
Close that sidebar.
Geoff, let's move on to another set of films.
Okay, let's talk film, baby.
Sundance Film Festival.
Uh-huh.
The festival originally started by Robert Redford, the late Robert Redford. Recently happened, and it premiered a bunch of exciting films. I wanted to talk about a few of them today.
Well, before we talk about these films, I want to talk about this.
Okay.
Have you started watching with Brandy, The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
I know, because Brandy has already caught up, and I've like caught here and there a few episodes, but there's a lot of TV.
Do you know about Lisa Barlow?
I mean, I know who she is, but what do you mean?
Okay, do you know that Barlow is does a lot of work on Sundance Film Festival, and that's how she became rich?
No, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
She has basically a little cottage industry in Salt Lake Park City really is where it is, but in that area, she does a bunch of press events and marketing events. She's an event planner essentially. And so she does a lot of the release parties and the meet the director and networking stuff with all the people who hobnob at the Sundance Film Festival.
Cool.
Just a fun cross-section of our interests.
Bit of a connection.
We love to.
Another fun cross-section of our interests, Geoff.
Yeah.
The Moment, the Charlie XCX starring film that is releasing very soon in wide release.
I can't wait for The Moment. It's going to be great. I love it.
It premiered at Sundance to good, if not great reviews. So I'm still excited to watch. Where stands here?
It's going to be great. Oh, I'm so sad I can't go to Anna's birthday party. She got a private room at this theater in Brooklyn. And she has a section of the movie theater cordoned off for her guests, and they're going to watch it when it premieres at that movie theater.
I'm a little shook that she was able to do that, because The Moment tickets have been in very high demand. They were selling out so quickly.
Yeah.
Especially this first limited run.
The thing about Anna is if she really wants something, she's going to make it happen. She's one of those people.
Good for her. Good for her.
It is good for her.
A couple other films that I wanted to highlight from Sundance that I think you might be interested in. So I'll give you the pitch for 3 films, and I want you to give me your thoughts.
Okay.
Okay. The first one is called The Invite. This is a comedy film directed by Olivia Wilde, and it stars Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen. So this may have been a relationship that formed during the filming of The Studio. Olivia Wilde had a very notable cameo in that show where she was really funny. And the concept here is that a couple in a struggling marriage are invited to an orgy.
I love it. I'm in.
Yeah. This is the first pickup out of Sundance. It got picked up by A24, so it'll probably come out sometime later this year through that production company.
You still got your AAA 24 pass?
You know I do. How do you think I got my free moment ticket? You know? That's an A24 film.
I did not realize you got a free one. Damn.
Yeah, free one for every A24 film on opening weekend.
Oh my God. I have to get this. I have to actually do this right now. I'm not kidding. I'm typing it in right now.
It honestly, it is absolutely worth it. And A24 keeps growing, so like the number of films that they produce gets a little bit bigger every year.
They do keep
the
growing.
Value gets higher. Yeah.
Sorry, they're a hit factory. I've got to say.
Sometimes you got to be a basic film bro. And
Justin, you're getting in on the ground floor of these films in A24. You should invest. Are they public?
I mean, if I had legs, I'd kick you. That's how I figured it out. No, it is not a publicly traded company.
Okay, well, this is the time to invest then. You want to get in before it's public. And that's your economic corner.
So it sounds like we have a big thumbs up on the invite from Olivia Wilde.
Oh, yeah, that is a perfect premise. And Olivia Wilde and especially Seth Rogen are so funny. I think it's going to be a great time.
Another film that premiered at Sundance is called I Want Your Sex.
Mm-hmm.
This is an erotic thriller comedy directed by Greg Araki, who I'm not really familiar with other stuff that he's directed. But this one stars Olivia Wilde as well, so big year for her.
Okay, eating up the girls.
And Cooper Hoffman, who is the son of Philip Seymour Hoffman, and who was great in The Long Walk, which I think is like a pretty underrated film from last year, Stephen King adaptation.
Yep.
Also stars Chase Sweet Wonders, who was great in The Studio and in Bodies. And stars Charlie. So pretty stacked cast.
Interesting.
And in this one, Olivia Wilde plays an eccentric artist who hires Hoffman's character to be her sexual muse.
So he's a stand-in for Harry Styles.
Potentially. And I mean, this is just good casting.
Gotta be.
Right? Like, Olivia Wilde as that character is just incredible casting. And I think Charlie XCX plays Cooper Hoffman's character's girlfriend, which I think is an interesting role for her to be like the normal person. So I'm very curious to see how she does.
That will be interesting.
Thoughts on this one?
This is an interesting premise. I mean, I'm going to watch it. I'm interested for sure in seeing what they are able to produce, but not what I would imagine. It's going to be interesting to see Charlie playing against type because at least from what you said, it sounds like she'll be playing against type. Yeah,
it sounds like she's going to be, again, like a normie, right? Like kind of the girlfriend, and then Olivia Wilde's like the weird, eccentric other woman type. You know what I mean? Although I could see it potentially, maybe Charlie's casting is kind of a spoiler, right? Maybe she like encourages it. I could see something like that happening as well.
Right. That seems like a more natural fit to me, but it would be interesting to see her playing somebody who's like a little bit buttoned up.
Yeah.
You know,
when I was looking down the list, I was like, oh, this cast is pretty cool. And the concept is fun. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that one reviews.
Also, I'm interested in that it's like comedy as well, like an erotic thriller comedy. That's an interesting concept. I love this about films recently. We are getting like more forays into like not gender bending, into genre bending. You know?
Yeah.
That's more fun.
There's a lot of black comedies. I mean, that's why we see all of these films competing in Best Comedy at the Golden Globes, right? All of these kind of like difficult to define.
Okay, I think we can define some of those categories as fraudulent. Some of those entrants are fools. Also, I just want to plug this again because I feel like I say this every year and no one seems to like catch on, but Charlie XCX was a great comedic actress when she hosted SNL, and she did a really excellent digital short with The Lonely Island and Andy Samberg called Here I Go on SNL that I think is one of their best videos that they've ever done. So everybody should watch it.
I've watched it. I think it's great. I love Charlie. I think that's so the only full episode of SNL that I've watched in the last few years.
I'm not surprised. Just sitting over there jerking your gherkin watching SNL.
Okay. Final film from Sundance that I want to highlight.
Okay.
This is easily the biggest film out of Sundance is Josephine. So this is a thriller directed by Beth de Araujo, is how I hope you pronounce her last name.
Okay.
And this stars Gemma Chan, who has been in a couple Marvel films and also Crazy Rich Asians. Right. And Channing Tatum.
Great movie, by the way.
As parents of the 8-year-old Josephine, the titular Josephine, who is played by newcomer Mason Reeves. Josephine witnesses an assault in Golden Gate Park and begins to experience fear and paranoia, which is kind of a very vague description that makes me think there might be more to this. Like maybe it's a little twisty in some way.
A horror movie or something?
Yeah, it's been described as a thriller, like a drama/thriller.
Okay.
And this won the Grand Jury Prize and the Audience Award at Sundance.
Wow.
So both the critics, like the jury and the audience both love this film. Thoughts on this one?
You know, I don't like most child actors, but lately there have been some really good ones out there, Justin. They're very lived in performances. And I'm like, how do you access that as a little baby? You know, like that kid from, what was that show? Adulter? The Netflix one, the Irish kid?
Adolescence. I was just waiting
Adolescence.
for you to, it sounded like you were about to say adultery, which I was like, that's a different show.
I did almost say that, but I was like, I know that's not right.
Adulting. Adult. It's not quite an adult. It's something close to an adult, maybe transitioning into an adult.
It's something close to that. Okay, and then also the kid actor from
28 Years Later.
The show that we just watched. No.
One?
Mark Ruffalo. Task.
Oh, Task.
So I'm interested.
Well, I will say that the child actor in Task is really like just an absolute puppy dog. Like he's the cutest child of all time, right?
He was great though.
He was insanely good at that. Yeah, and that was like his task. I think that in Adolescence and also in 28 Years Later, he's also a lot younger than I think the kid in Adolescence and 28 Years Later, which are the two child performances that stand out in my mind.
Okay,
I think they just had a little bit more to do. Then Sam was the name of the character in Task, right?
Yeah.
Then Sam was given in Task.
Okay, wow, Justin's hating on.
But he was great. He was incredible.
Like a 5-year-old's performance. All right.
I talked for like 10 minutes about Task a couple weeks ago. You know, I love that show.
I do know you love it. You know I love music.
Yeah, this one I'm a little bit like, this could be a little dark. Could be a little bit too dark for me.
Okay.
But I think this is one where I need to see a trailer. Like, I need to know what the hook is here. Beyond.
The Asian-led film, Justin's like, I don't know about this one, guys. He liked all the other ones. That's interesting. You're canceled, actually.
Right. Okay.
Listen, I think it's going to be good. It's it's not A24, but it's like, it got like good reviews. It won the like jury prize and the audience prize. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I'm just
That's
like,
giving 95% on the audience score and the tomato meter, Justin.
Damn.
I feel like this is going to be a hit. This could be the weapons of this year.
Channing Tatum has not gotten a lot of flowers on the dramatic side. I feel like people now respect him as like a comedic actor after the Jump Street films and a couple of other films. But I feel like on the dramatic side, he hasn't quite gotten a very meaty role. So maybe like this is it for him. And Gemma Chan also always good in whatever she's in. So
yeah,
I hope it's good. I do.
I'm going to watch for sure. These are 3 films that I'm very interested in this year. And I have to tell you, still struggling to watch some of these Oscar-nominated films, Justin. So boring.
Wait, okay.
Very boring.
Give me your hot takes. Which ones are you struggling with?
This is going to be a very unpopular. No, I'm not even going to say it.
Oh, wait, you got to say it now. This is what podcasts were invented for. Let's go.
I'm having a hard time hitting play on One Battle After Another. The trailer doesn't really excite me.
Hitting play, just pressing play at all.
I downloaded it. I have it. I'm ready to watch it.
You said I'm so bored by this film that I haven't even watched a moment of.
You know, this is what's wrong with my brain, and this is why I deleted TikTok this week, which I know this has been a big deal for me because I did feel my inability to like engage in long format things other than like podcasts or recorded podcast videos, you know?
Yeah.
I still love that. But that's because it's like a second screen thing. Like,
you don't have to pay full attention to it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I was doing like a mindless task at work the other day and I put on Good Hang and was watching her interview Gwyneth Paltrow, or Claire Danes rather, which was a great episode. But anyway, I have like the bandwidth for that, but it's like sitting down and being like, I'm committing to watching this 2-hour plus movie. I think One Battle is 2 hours and 15 minutes long, if I remember.
Yeah, it's quite long.
That is tough for me. And like, I'm sure like once I get into it, it'll be good. But it's like the idea of sitting down and not doing anything for the next 2.5 hours, but watching this film is really difficult.
See, that's my dream. That's why I love movies. And the other thing about movies is like, you always talk about how you like self-contained things.
Right.
Like TV shows, we're talking like up to 10, 20 hours of your life watching a season of TV.
But the episodic nature of it makes it easier to digest over time.
Well, it tricks you into thinking, oh, it's not as much of a commitment because it's broken up into all of these pieces. But like films, you finish it, it's over in 2 hours. Maybe 3 hours if it's a really long one. You know, I know that we've talked shit about long films on the pod.
But what can you do you can't like pause it and then get back into it in the same way.
Well, yeah, but you just watch it, you know? You watched the whole thing.
Justin,
You do it in one shot.
There's other things to do in your house.
Jeff's listeners, Geoff is literally glancing around his room right now. He's like, there's so many other things to take my attention.
Like, what about when you're like, I need a little snack, and then you have to pause it and get up, and then you're like, oh, but my sink is dirty. Let me wash the sink real quick.
Okay, well, this,
you know what I'm saying?
Maybe you just have ADD. Is that possible?
Firstly, it's ADHD. You and your
dated
dated medical terms today.
ADD is a different condition.
ADD is the old terminology for it. ADHD is the common modern terminology.
Okay. Well, I'm not a psychiatrist.
Trust me and my medical degree, okay? You're not that kind of doctor, and I am.
Oh, you are?
Talking ADD? What are we, stuck in 1992? This is crazy.
Sorry. So consider you have ADHD. Could it be that?
Yes, I do have ADHD, Justin. That's why I take my trusty dusty lisdexamphetamine, aka Vyvanse, and we love it. I want a shirt that says Vyvanse.
Okay, I'm sure Big Pharma would love that. Yeah, you should work for Big Pharma.
Oh, you know what? It's probably trademarked. I think I'll just make a shirt that says lisdexamphetamine.
I'm sure they sell that. Who makes the drug? Like Pfizer? I'm sure Pfizer sells something. Whatever drug.
I actually don't know. They probably do.
Yeah,
and that's tough.
Well, speaking of tough, Geoff, we do have to get through this. What I would say is like some truly horrible news.
This was actually so earth-shaking for me.
I mean, I'm not usually affected that much by celebrity deaths, but when it came out earlier this week that Catherine O'Hara had passed, I was like completely shook.
I was too. It was really, really sad because Catherine O'Hara has been an actor who's been like in formative films for me. Of course, Home Alone, but also like watching her in Beetlejuice as like this extremely dramatic and expressive like artist. And like I likened myself to that in many ways, that character, like just wanting to be seen and wanting to be expressed and heard. Damn, it was just like really, really sad for me to see somebody who's like, and I'm one of those people who watches Home Alone 1 and 2 every single year, every year around the holidays. Like she's part of the holiday experience for me in my life, and so it's really sad that she's gone now. It's gonna hurt a little bit next year to watch it, just like this year watching The Family Stone with Diane Keaton having recently passed. That was really tough for me too.
Yeah, and she was in the midst of a real career resurgence that started with Schitt's Creek, I think. She was incredible in Schitt's Creek, of course, as Moira, and then she had pretty significant roles in both The Last of Us, season 2 of The Last of Us.
She was great in that. One
of the best parts of that season of television. And then she had a really great role in The Studio, like insanely funny. And she was like really energetic and herself in those roles. Like it didn't feel to me like I think it came as a shock to me, especially because she was so full of life in those roles,
right?
And it didn't seem like she was going to slow down. Like it seemed like this was the beginning of a renaissance for her and that she was going to be in so many things and continuing to be great. So it was really crushing when this news broke.
Yeah. There was another show that I watched during the pandemic that I hadn't watched growing up called Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I've talked about before. And she plays a character called Bam Bam, who has just recently been released from a mental facility. And she does a great job of playing somebody who is like suffering with mental illness in a compassionate but extremely like hilarious and slapstick way. And I think that was kind of part of the magic of Catherine O'Hara, is that she was able to really portray her characters in a way, even if they were like kind of detestable and kind of like shallow, like she played, like when she played the dog groomer in Best in Show, she was still like, I don't know, she had like that sparkle and she had that way of like connecting to like her character's humanity and bringing that forward, as well as like she just provided depth in a performance that I don't think a lot of characters can do.
Yeah, she was able to provide like really big performances without losing the like human nature of the character that she was portraying.
Justin, you said it perfectly. That's exactly right. Yeah, really sad.
Well, rest in peace to Catherine O'Hara.
Rest in power, Catherine O'Hara.
Really lost
an incredible career.
A gem.
And I gotta say, it's been gratifying, because I was a fan of her before Schitt's Creek, but of course she was great in that film, and that's definitely introduced her to like a new generation, a couple new generations, really. But it's been really gratifying to see how many celebrities of all different levels of fame have been like paying tribute to her and talking about working with her. And even if she was like a guest star or just had a really small part, about how kind she was and how loving she was and how devoted to her craft she was, and like about bestowing wisdom from her experience in the industry onto younger people and helping them throughout their career. It's been really amazing to read.
Well, on that note, Geoff,
prayers to her family.
Yeah, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with our future selves who have just finished watching the Grammy Awards.
Oh my God. Music's biggest night, Justin. I loved it.
We'll be right back. And we're back.
And we're so back.
And Geoff, I would even argue we're even more back than usual, Geoff. And today we're going to talk about the Grammy Awards, which we did just watch last night.
Oh my God. The Grammys were a wild time. As always.
Yeah, as always.
So many mishaps, so many interesting fashions, some good performances, bad performances, good singers, bad singers.
I will say, I think that this was a surprising Grammy telecast, both in terms of who ended up winning, like in the televised awards, and just in like the chaos, the general chaos that happened at the awards, especially towards the end of the night. I'm sure we'll get to that. But Geoff, first, any thoughts on the red carpet, on the fashion of the Grammys this year?
Yes. Okay. My best dressed male of the night is for sure Pharrell.
Yeah. I mean, he's a style icon.
Pink velour peak lapel suit with like all the ice on his chest. That was awesome.
Don't sleep on Clips. Like Malice and Pusha T both had they were all in matching suits.
I don't think that I even saw that. Pusha T?
They were all sitting at the same table, I think. Yeah.
Wait, they had the same suits as Pharrell, you're saying?
Yeah, the exact same suits, slightly different brooches, which is definitely how you pronounce that word.
Okay, yes. I only saw Pharrell. I didn't see the other two. This is so interesting. I wonder if this was Louis Vuitton, because as you know, Pharrell is the creative director of Louis Vuitton.
Right.
Or should I say Louis Vuitton?
Pharrell famously produced much of the Clips album, and I will say Pusha T, he famously had a salmon colored suit, I think on a performance at the VMAs maybe of Runaway, the Kanye song that he featured on, which was like a real breakout verse for him.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this is like a throwback to that.
That could be. I think that they do look good. I'm looking at the photo right now, but I do have to say I think Pharrell's styling was better. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, he just has a je ne sais quoi. Pharrell is just a good-looking guy.
That's exactly right. What were some standouts for you on the red carpet?
I don't know if this is like a standout one way or the other for me, but I do think that what's gotten the most conversation going on social media is Chappell Roan's fit. Have you seen this?
Of course.
Yeah, this is like the nipple ring dress. Is there a better term?
I think that's the appropriate term.
Okay. I mean, I think it's like very provocative. It's not like over the top in a Lady Gaga sense, right? It's not like absurd or anything. It is kind of like sleek relatively. It's really just like the nipple ring aspect that makes it provocative, I guess. I did check and confirm that they are prosthetic areolas, which is the term that the article that I found used.
I like that. Prosthetic areolas. I know that it was made by Mugler, and I do love Mugler. A fun, like, archival outfit,
Yeah.
And it had nipple clamps. That's what it was.
I think the original had nipple clamps, right? And then Chappell decided to use some, instead of, the natural nipples, she decided to use some prosthetics. Which,
that makes sense.
Can't blame her. Can't blame her on that one.
Now, remember when this happened on the Super Bowl with Janet Jackson? Nipple rings.
How could one forget? That was like a formative moment in pop culture for everyone.
That was wild.
Yeah.
People tore her down for that, blacklisted her for that. And now people are doing it on the red carpet and everything's A-okay. We like that progress. Free the nips,
Yeah. I mean, free the nipple. That's a throwback. When was that happening? Like 2016?
I think it was around that time.
That feels right.
The topless subway rides. Good times. Okay, I had some other standouts that I thought were interesting.
Sure.
Sabrina Carpenter. She was wearing Valentino. It was an interesting dress because it was a little bit different than what I think people expected, but it was still very on brand for her. Mm-hmm. It was very like delicate looking, very sweetheart coated, and very kind of like romantic and ethereal.
Yeah.
With like the cap sleeves that were sheer and like a tiered column dress. I thought it was very cool.
Yeah, Marilyn Monroe energy. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely had like some of the old Hollywood stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Heidi Klum. Did you see this outfit?
I did. This is like the, it seemed like, I mean, I'm assuming it was like custom molded for her. Was it?
I believe so. I thought it was very bad. I wanted to like it, but I just feel like it really was a bad color, I think. And then the edges of the dress on the bottom looked like unfinished. It looked like they had some kind of an accident.
Some kind of an accident.
Well, did you see it? It's like all chopped up looking on the bottom.
I thought that was like intentional. Like it looked like it was just melted over her or something. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it looks sloppy, like unfinished. I don't know. The particular one that I'm looking at, I'll send you the image. You can take a look and see. What other standouts on the red carpet for you? Any?
Lady Gaga has always looked great in what may have been a reference to the late Catherine O'Hara's character in Schitt's Creek with the Crow premiere. She had a very like feathery black dress with this collar, this very high collar that was very feathery.
Who could forget the crowing?
Who could forget? A great look for Gaga. She always comes prepared to these things. I mean, Bad Bunny, I think, had a very simple look, but very classic. And he's just a handsome guy. We'll talk about him a lot, I think, in this segment. He was one of the big winners out of the Grammys this year. You know, he's just so immaculately dressed, skin completely flawless. I don't know how he does it.
He was wearing Schiaparelli, and this was their first menswear piece, and it had a really cool corseting detail. And when you like look at the sketch, I saw the sketch because I was watching live from the red carpet, of course. So they showed like a video feed of him arriving on the carpet and then the sketch. And I was like, holy crap, that waist is cinched. And then his waist was actually so cinched too from the corseting. It was pretty cool. Very dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
A big look for a big winner. We'll talk about that more later.
Absolutely. Any other final red carpet thoughts from you, Geoff?
Well, I got to talk about this. I'm very sorry to say. Shabuzi's outfit was just so bad, and I really like Shabuzi, but this was a real miss for me.
Yeah, the jeans.
He's wearing like tuxedo top with jeans. It just
not working.
It felt like we were trying to do a statement about like keeping things real in country, and it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, didn't work for me either. Pilot hat, I think. Was that what was going on there? Captain's hat?
I do believe it was the captain's hat, yeah. That is tough.
Felt like he just pulled that off the rack like last second and just added it.
It did feel like it was like a bit of a mixed bag there.
Yeah,
there was a lot of feathers on the carpet this year. That was definitely like a trend that we saw happening. A lot of men in pink and blush tones, so I also liked. Somber had a really cool sequined suit. I think it was also by Valentino. Yes, it is Valentino, with like a lace shirt. I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, otherwise red carpet was like kind of fun. Oh, I do want to say another person who I thought was like very well dressed for the night, and it was so her, was Olivia Dean. She was wearing Chanel, and she also had a lot of feathers on. Looked very classic, very glamorous, very old Hollywood.
Yeah, she does.
Great fashions, great fashions.
Yeah, very classic, timeless style from Olivia Dean. She always kind of looks a little bit more, I don't know. I don't want to say dress down has like a different meaning. That's not what I mean, but like more casual and like less. She seems like a normal person in a way that a lot of people at these award shows don't. You know what I mean? Like she's obviously gorgeous, but just her style feels very like her and natural. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel put upon. Yeah.
Yeah. She doesn't go for like a huge look where her hair is totally different and she's got like different kind of makeup. Like she always looks very much her.
It almost feels like she's like, I want to wear something that I feel comfortable in and not something that's like for the cameras or the red carpet, you know?
Yes. We have to talk about Teyana Taylor.
Oh my God. Yeah. How did we not talk
about
her?
Gravity-defying Tom Ford dress?
Wild. She presented an award later in the night and Brandy and I were watching together. And as she walked up, Brandy literally said, what? She was like, are those real? Talking about the abs, actually.
Yeah.
And I was like, honestly, she's been doing this. She's been in the game for decades like this at this point.
Yeah.
I remember from the Kanye music video, that was one of my introductions to Tiana Taylor. I know you talk about Super Sweet 16, but yeah, body of the gods on Tiana.
It was crazy. The dress was great. I really liked this look. I liked her like slick back, like wet hair look. It was great. She killed it. I think she's one of the best dressed for sure.
Absolutely.
Good shit. Lots of ice out buttons too. We like that.
Yeah, we love to see it. Another trend of the night. We'll get into that, I'm sure. Speaking of which, let's get into the telecast. So performances, hosting job by Trevor Noah. Let's start just by talking about maybe our favorite performances of the night. Which ones hit for you, Geoff?
Okay, I thought Manchild was really fun. I love a big set piece, and Sabrina always delivers on that front. The airplane coming out on stage, the baggage claim terminal, all the different like luggage trolleys and carts. It was very fun, and it was also fun to see the audience interaction, her call and response.
Like stupid.
Yeah.
It was great.
Very fun.
I have such a man-child bias. That's one of my favorite songs from last year. So I was just jamming to the song, but the production design of the whole performance was also great. Sabrina Carpenter knows how to play a crowd at this point, right? She's like been on the road for a long time on both of these albums.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great. That was a standout from the beginning. But let's talk about the Lady Gaga performance, Abracadabra, because that was another interesting one. What did you think of that one?
Yeah, well, you know what I was saying to myself while I was watching it? I'm like, her singing right to camera and like moving the camera around with her hands was very her, and I really loved that. It wasn't as dynamic a performance. It was kind of small. It was really meant for television and not necessarily for a live audience, and I think that's fine. Lady Gaga suffers from chronic pain, and so she can't always do like a lot of big dance numbers. It takes a lot out of her. And so I think that might have been part of the reason why it was sort of like a production that was meant for television.
I mean, it was definitely like a swing, right?
Yeah, but I think it was great.
Depending on your like personal taste, it may work for you or it may not work for you. Like maybe it wasn't as high energy because Abracadabra, obviously, like this massive dance rave song, right? I will say, I think that she definitely used one of those like robotic camera arms that you can pre-program the motions into, and probably did a lot of actual choreography with the camera, like behind the scenes before the show. And that's why it seemed so like almost uncannily smooth, the camera movement, which I love those effects in music videos.
Me
like
too.
Kendrick has used those effects in a lot of his music videos from the Damn era and stuff. So I thought it was like really just technologically very cool, and cool to see her like playing these like old analog synths as well. I just think she's cool. She's such a nerd. That's what I love about Lady Gaga.
I love it when she gets to like showcase her like true musicianship. I think a lot of people, especially when she started, were like, oh, she's just like some auto-tune pop girl with not a lot of talent, and then she like immediately was like, no, you're gonna now watch me play piano. It was great.
What about the fit that she had on though? Because you did text me something about that when we were watching it.
Oh yeah, I said Lady Gaga looks like she's wearing my busted IKEA pendant light. But I did find out it's archival Alexander McQueen, who was a good friend of hers and collaborator. Good collaborator, great collaborator. Damn. It still did look like a busted up lampshade, but it was fun.
It was in the shape of an eye to me, right? Like that was the intention.
Well, it looked like she was wearing look, I have this lampshade right here. It literally looked like this lampshade. And then like they took those, when people in the 2000s, when the Volkswagen Beetle came back and they got those like fake like vinyl eyelashes to put on the top of the headlights. It looked like they had like red vinyl Volkswagen eyelashes on the little hole through the lamp. It was a fun
that's exactly
look.
what it looked like. Yeah.
Can always count on her to do something wacky.
Yeah, Lady Gaga is known to be wacky.
Quote it.
Okay, another big favorite of mine, maybe my favorite performance of the night, was Tyler, the Creator, with a 2-song performance. He performed a song from each of his albums, both of which were nominated at the Grammys. From Chromacopia, he performed Thought I Was Dead, and then went straight into Sugar on My Tongue off of Don't Tap the Glass.
Sugar on my tongue.
Talk about production design. Like this
so
performance
cool.
Fucking ripped. I was riveted the entire time.
Me too. It was like watching a movie.
The stylistic transition from the Chromacopia era to the Don't Tap the Glass era was like really well done. And like also like thematically, I love stuff where artists talk about themselves and their own personas. And killing maybe their old artistic version of themselves to come through with a new version of themselves. And that's exactly what Tyler was like getting at, I think, with this performance.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just like choreography wise, some of the schmoves that he pulled out there for the Sugar on My Tongue performance.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe his moonwalking and stuff.
I was like, this guy can actually
know he did this.
Dance like for real. Like he can actually for real dance.
I was really impressed. I thought it was great. The second part of the performance for Sugar on My Tongue was very much giving me like the Lovecraft Country.
Because Regina King was in there. Yeah, Regina King.
Yeah, Regina King was in it.
Oh, you said the Boondocks when we were texting earlier.
Yes, it reminded me of the Boondocks. Also Regina King.
Right. I think I was actually confusing Lovecraft Country and Watchmen because both HBO.
Yes. And came out at similar times.
Yes. But Regina King also great pull.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see her out, doing stuff and working because she obviously took a bit of a break because of the very tragic death of her son.
Mm-hmm.
And so good to see her back on the stage and in the spotlight. And what a way to do it. I mean, I think that was probably the best performance of the night in terms of scope and payoff.
Just vision. Yeah. Like the final shot of Tyler just laying on the Grammys floor, literally smoking. I was kind of like, how did they do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. The practical effects that they did on that were insane, especially the explosion.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, this is going to look kind of lame. It's going to just, like, kind of catch on fire. But, like, it actually exploded and, like, came apart. I was very impressed.
From the power line. Yeah, it was crazy.
The whole thing was so great. Very high production value.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
Speaking of high production value, let's talk about the cinematography / hosting of the telecast.
Okay, let's talk about that. Yeah, so Trevor Noah came back for, I think he said it was his 8th and final year at CBS. 6th and final year at CBS.
Yes.
I think that when we talked about him last year, we called him a host.
I think we said it was like kind of like safe and boring.
Yes, he was very vanilla.
Yeah, I think that he shirked the safety and the vanilla this year.
Right. I mean, he wasn't Nikki Glaser, right? He wasn't like going that hard after people. But I think because he knew it was his last year and also because of gestures broadly at what's happening everywhere, I think that he was like, okay, I am going for it this year. And there were some jokes at the administration's expense for which he has already been threatened with lawsuits. I don't know if you heard about that one.
Kidding. Of course I haven't. I haven't been on the computer on the news all day. I've been working, Justin. Some of us have to work. Some of us don't get free vacations every few months when people decide not to do their jobs.
But I do think that he was like mostly focused on the logistics of like keeping the show moving, which we saw. Do we want to talk about what is maybe the most iconic moment of the night outside of the awards and the speeches, which is
we have to talk about Cher.
Cher.
We got to talk about Cher.
Yeah.
Cher is one of those people who always comes on stage and I think everyone is rapt and paying full attention.
She's a legend.
She's a legend. She's truly an icon. She is the moment. Now, come on now. And I do think that because she looks so great too, people forget that she is of a mature age, shall we say.
She's a little bit, she's older.
She's
an
nearly
elder.
80.
Yes.
She's nearly 80 years old. Mm-hmm. I do feel like we saw her age a little bit at play last night during the telecast. If you'd like to review what happened for the listeners, dear.
Okay, yeah. So Cher came on. What award did she actually come on to present?
Well, she came on to accept her Lifetime Achievement Grammy and then to go right into introducing the Record of the Year nominees.
Right. And all like right off the bat, right? She walks up to the mic and then Trevor Noah, there must have been some miscommunication, right?
I think there might have been a production error, yeah.
Trevor Noah came off like from the side and he's just holding a Grammy. And he's like, oh, hold on, by the way, I'm supposed to give this to you. And it felt very like, what happened here? Like, why are they just giving her this award so casually? It felt like maybe either she missed something on the teleprompter or maybe production missed something. But given what happened later, my assumption would be that Cher perhaps missed something.
What do you mean?
Well, then she said a whole bunch of stuff, which, very heartfelt, very, very touching comments about the industry. And then she was like, okay, she literally said, okay, I guess I'm just going to walk back now.
It was so funny.
And then she turned around, the camera like we cut to a wide shot of Cher just walking directly away from the microphone. She gets to the back of the stage. She looks in both directions. She's like, how do I get out of here? And then Trevor Noah comes up from the bottom of the screen in this wide shot, and he's like, oh, hold on a second, Cher, can you come on back to the stage? You need to read the nominees.
It was very much giving that year that they had the Moonlight La La Land Oscars thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, dude. I've been this person like in a Zoom call or something where it's like, okay, come on, we're herding cats here. Like, let's get this done. It's also 11:15, right? So the audience at home is like, okay, let's go. And she finally does come back to the mic, reads off the nominees, and then she just waits for like too long, like a few seconds too long, and then she's like, oh, I thought the winner would be in the teleprompter.
Yeah. She's like, they told me the winner would be on the teleprompter.
Yeah, so Cher, we love her dearly, of course, an absolute icon. Oh, yeah, one of her things is that she did mention that she was the first person who ever used autotune, which I thought was great. I do love that factoid.
History for the girls. Okay, but also the best part of this whole thing is she goes, and the Grammy for Record of the Year goes to, oh my God, my friend Luther.
Oh my God, I forgot
Luther
about that.
Vandross. I'm like, firstly, his name is Luther Vandross. Secondly, the song is called Luther, and it was for Kendrick Lamar and SZA. It was so funny. I loved it.
And then the mashup of like SZA, Kendrick coming up on stage, like Soundwave, the producer of the track.
With all of their producers.
Yes.
It was insane. And then nobody knew what to say, and they were just sort of all hanging out and chatting amongst themselves, like on the telecast. And Trevor Noah is like low-key panicking and like, okay, like trying to keep the show moving. It was so funny.
Yeah, it was.
And he's
very
like,
funny.
live TV, folks.
Yep. So that was a highlight, I think.
It was a lot of fun. I wouldn't change a thing, honestly. I love Cher just getting on stage and saying whatever the fuck she feels like. You know what I love, Justin? There's this clip of Cher like years ago. I think it was like right after like we invaded Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
And she called into C-SPAN. And Cher, for those who don't know, is very much like anti-war. She's definitely like about peace proliferation, which is great. We love that. She did not want us to be in Iraq or Afghanistan. And she also does a lot of work and charity work to advocate for veterans and for the safety of military personnel when they are deployed.
Right.
And so she called in C-SPAN, and they were doing some C-SPAN for those who don't really watch, which actually a lot of our listeners are in DC. So I bet a lot of you watch C-SPAN for fun, you nerds. But anyway, C-SPAN has this like stuff where they'll like have people call in, you know, just any listener can call in and get through and, you know, make a comment or ask the host a question. And this person called in and they're like, yeah, I want to talk about the safety measures in place for the helmet for our military personnel in Afghanistan. And the guy's like, okay. He's like, caller, where are you calling from? Malibu. He's like, what do you do for work? I'm an entertainer. He's like, is this Cher? And she goes, yeah.
Is this Cher?
It was so funny.
Wow. I gotta look
at
at
my
that clip.
favorite Cher clips.
Yeah.
We'll put a link in the show notes.
Okay, moving on from Cher.
Malibu.
Do we want to talk about any of the other performances? I think we should at least talk about the tributes.
Well, let's talk about the tributes of it.
There were 3. One was Reba McEntire.
Totaling at 45 minutes, I believe.
It was very long.
The telecast.
Yeah. Reba McEntire, who was heavily advertised. Does Reba draw?
Oh, 100%.
Are people tuning into the Grammys just to watch a Reba performance?
People love Reba McEntire.
Okay.
Like, it's not a joke. She's had 2 television shows just based on her life, I think. She has one airing now, and of course Reba like aired, you know, I think we were in like middle school, high school. That was huge. She's on American Idol or The Voice. She's on The Voice.
Okay. And
drawing in huge numbers. And country establishment loves Reba because she's like solid. She's good. She's got a good personality. People love Reba.
Okay, that was just a for my information question.
Our friend's husband, I won't embarrass him and say his name, but our friend's husband told me once that Reba McEntire was his sexual awakening.
The way that you just said that makes me, I feel like I know who you're talking about. So
You definitely do.
Okay. That's an interesting sexual awakening. Okay, let's move on straight from that one. The second one following Reba's performance
So
of
good.
Trailblazer, which was kind of like the general field of tributes, was a big Ozzy tribute, which featured a bunch of like rock legends, like I'm forgetting the guy's name, but the drummer from Red Hot Chili Peppers, Slash from Guns N' Roses, Duff McKagan, and then Post Malone sang vocals on a cover of War Pigs.
I listen, I love Posty. I think to credit what he did as singing is a stretch. And I think that we have to stop. I think Post, we get it. You've appealed not only to the hip hop audience, but you've now appealed to country, middle America. I think we can stop with this like relatable guy drag of taking around a red Solo cup everywhere we go. I think we're done with that. I think let's do something new.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't been that. How long has it been? Like 2 or 3 years now that he's been doing the country stuff?
Too long.
Yeah.
I think it's been more than that.
Cowboy Carter was at the beginning of that, and then he put out an album after that, I think, right?
I don't know, Justin. I think it's been longer than that. I think he's been doing the Red Solo Cup on stage thing for a while.
Oh, for sure. But he was in, if we're talking drag, he was in like hip hop drag at the beginning with the Red Solo Cup, right? And now he's like, doing the country, like trucker hat, blue jeans drag.
Yeah, I just, I'm like, we get it. Next. Next, please. Love Post, but let's a new thing,
Yeah, I thought he actually did an okay job with the vocals. I mean, Ozzy Osbourne, he's a rock vocalist. Like we're not going for quality here. It's for energy. You know what I mean? I thought it was like fine. I thought it was fun. And then there was, I think, what was probably the superior of the three tributes was the D'Angelo and Roberta Flack tribute, which was led by two members of the Fugees. It was a bit of Fugees.
The
reunion.
Fugees? Two of the Fugees. We ate some fungi with the Fugees.
Lauryn Hill and, God, I'm blanking on the other guy's name right now.
Wyclef Jean?
Wyclef Jean, yes. Wyclef.
You fool. Give it a Wyclef. That's when you go one time.
They had like first of all a whole squad with them, and they covered like I don't even know how many songs as a part of the performance.
That part of the tribute section, that D'Angelo and Roberta Flack tribute itself, was like 15 minutes long.
Went on for quite a while.
But it was great. To me, that was like good for watching, To me, I was like, oh, this is like the Grammys. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They always have like an obscure thing where they're like, we're just going to throw a bunch of talented people together on stage and they're going to sing and you're going to fucking like it. And I sure did.
What was funny was that Lauryn Hill kept being like, in a very hip hop tradition, like of like, okay, who's the next person doing the next verse?
Yeah.
She was like, all right, where Lucky Day at? And then Lucky Day came on stage, did his thing. And then she was like, all right, where Wyclef at?
It was great.
It was great. I mean, every single person. And there was like, I feel like 12 people, it was very fun.
And Lauryn Hill was wearing like a wig that my great aunties would wear in Virginia. And she was also simultaneously wearing like a very futuristic, like Star Trek looking kind of a dress. Like she could have been like behind the bar at the, Star Wars cantina.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I really like that. She's so interesting. She's such an interesting and enigmatic figure in entertainment. I'll watch her every day.
Yeah. It's wild that she hasn't performed that much, and wasn't she?
Yeah.
She was kind of in the Frank Ocean. This is hearsay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but she was kind of in the Frank Ocean school of like made a perfect album and then always was difficult to schedule in terms of like touring or festival dates. Frank Ocean is like this, at least. He's just very picky about the way that his live music sounds. And for that reason, he like often backs out if things aren't perfect and like can be late to his shows and stuff like that. Yeah.
That is my understanding that that's the case. And then, of course, she also got in trouble for not paying her taxes. So then she was kind of like blackballed a bit. And that's tough, too.
We love Lauryn Hill here on the pod.
We do.
Obviously.
A huge once-in-a-generation talent, I would say. And hilarious MC. I loved it.
Any other performances you wanted to touch on before we move on to the awards themselves?
I don't think so. I gotta say, as far as telecasts go, I found this one to be extremely engaging.
Yeah, there weren't too many like sleeper performances, and the ones that there were, which like there is a requirement, it seems like, at the Grammys now, where each of the best new artists gets an opportunity to perform.
Yeah, which is kind of fun.
which is, it's cute. And like, it can be hard to transition from artist to artist.
Yeah, it can be clunky.
I think that the quality of the best new artist performances varied like quite a bit.
Oh, 100%.
I think that Cat's Eye is like a whole industry at this point. Like the choreography and the production design that went into that performance like is just uncomparable to like what Lola Young could have possibly done in her performance. You know what I mean? So like it's kind of comparing apples and oranges, but the Cat's Eye performance was great. I thought that the why am I blanking on the Britney Spears Reborn artist right now?
Addison Rae?
Yes, Addison Rae, that's right. The Addison Rae's performance was also really fun, and I'm not usually a fan of hers. I was sold by the performance. I thought that the Lola Young performance was vocally pretty powerful, and a cool adaptation of the Messy song, which is of course like went viral last year. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anybody else. Oh, Olivia Dean, of course, closed it with Man I Need, and I think they knew that she was going to win, and that's why they put her as the closer there. I think that the other performances, like, listen, I love the song 12 to 12 by Somber. That performance he's a great studio artist. You know, that song sounded great on the record, but he's got some work to do if he's trying to be like a Prince, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, I'm holding space for Somber because I don't think that was a great showing of his talent, and he's very young. I think he's literally 18 or 19.
He's got a lot of time. Yeah.
And I can't imagine the nerves of steel you have to go onto the Grammy stage in front of like your musical heroes, your icons, people who you're now being compared to as peers, and try to deliver like your first like big live performance, not to mention the millions of people watching on television.
Exactly. And then walk through the Grammys crowd and like do crowd work with Queen Latifah. Like that's surreal. Yeah. You know, that's crazy stuff.
So, you know what? I'm holding space for him. It wasn't the best performance, but he has lots of time and a bright future to get it right.
Totally agree. Okay, shall we get into the awards?
Well, let's, because after all, the Grammys is an awards ceremony, Justin.
You wouldn't know it, honestly. So many performances.
That's actually so true. You would think it was like some kind of benefit concert.
Let's talk about the big one, right? Let's talk about Album of the Year. And there were quite a few shockers, I would say, at the Grammys.
Justin, there were many shockers for the actual awards themselves.
Album of the Year went to Bad Bunny for Debí Tirar Más Fotos. I should have taken more photos. Geoff, what did you think of this win? And neither of us predicted this. Win. I think we both had Kendrick.
Well, I was very surprised. You know, I for sure thought that Kendrick was going to take this home because, you know, he's a Grammys darling. And I mean, he is just very good. And I don't think that there were a lot of like truly excellent albums that were in the fray this year. So I was surprised by this. I think that I haven't really listened to this album, but people love it. And I think people were also possibly making a political statement by lifting him up in this way and celebrating him this way and celebrating Latin music in a very mainstream way, in a traditionally mainstream category.
I agree with you, and I just want to maybe like add a twist to what you said about this being maybe like a political, not even like a political statement, but I think that Debí Tirar Más Fotos is a political album. Like I've listened to it a couple times since we had our Grammy nominations episode, just because I was like, what's the deal with this? You know, like what's going on with Bad Bunny? I listened to it. I have like a high school level understanding of Spanish, so like I picked up a couple of things here and there, but in reading some of the criticism about it, it seems like it's really an album about the loss of culture in Puerto Rico and like assimilation and, you know, the loss of culture and the domination of like one culture over another is just a political thing that is resonating at this moment. Right. And I think that people are responding to that by loving the album even more. And to kind of like reflect on Bad Bunny's speech, actually, he gave it when he was winning an earlier Grammy, when I think he thought like, this is going to be my speech, right? Like this is going to be my speech for the night. Yeah, because
I don't think he expected to win either.
Exactly. He was like, you know, we have to let love triumph over hate. And it's not about who we hate, but it's about loving our communities, right? Like loving the people who we are around all the time. And that's what the energy of DTMF is like cherishing the memory of the culture that we had now and like through that love, like bringing it back to life.
Yeah.
Which really resonated with his speech. And it was just like a magical moment, honestly. And then when he came onto the stage for Album of the Year, most of the speech was in Spanish.
which I think is like a very powerful statement. We love to see it, especially on the eve of the Super Bowl performance. This is, it really felt like a moment, like an all-timer Grammys moment to me.
It definitely was. Yes, I just want to make clear, I'm not saying that he was elevated and won this award as an act of charity or as
right.
I'm not saying,
and I know that that's what you meant, and I was just trying to add some context.
I'm just clarifying for the listeners so they don't think that I'm secret MAGA over here.
Jeff's actually not canceled.
Actually, I'm not canceled. I'm uncanceling myself right now.
Point for Geoff.
But yes, that's right. I do think that it needs to be like stated that, like, in addition to like talking about celebrating culture and keeping, staying connected to your communities and staying connected to your, like, your heritage, part of what was really cool about the residency, which we've mentioned before on the pod that Bad Bunny did in Puerto Rico, was that he worked with local artists, local producers, local people to Puerto Rico who were able to help him put on this concert residency. So he was giving like local people local work, and he kept the ticket prices affordable. And I was actually just listening to another podcast the other day, and the host of the podcast was talking about how she is Puerto Rican, but was born in New York. And she was talking about how she's just recently been able to afford to go back and forth between New York and Puerto Rico a few times a year. And while she was down there, it was during Bad Bunny's residency, and she was trying to get tickets. And people were like, "Are you a local though?" Like when she was going to buy tickets, and she was like, "No, I'm from New York." And they're like, "Sorry, we can't sell you a ticket. Like you're going to have to try to get online because we're keeping these tickets for local people."
Right.
So it was very cool that he was like not just preaching about like being about community. He was really doing the work of it.
Yeah, and he's been doing it. And I mean, it was great that Trevor Noah shouted that out during the ceremony as well.
Yeah.
Like he had a recurring bit where he kept trying to get Bad Bunny to perform ahead of his Super Bowl performance, which I thought was actually like pretty cute. And they ended up actually doing like a little karaoke version of DTMF in the middle of the show, which I thought was pretty fun. To me, that's like the thesis statement of the album, that song. It is just so fun and so celebratory. Yeah, so this was a big dub for the Grammys, We love to see it when it happens, and I thought it was great.
I agree. Also, I think Bad Bunny is working so hard on his Super Bowl performance because he fell asleep a couple times.
Is that true?
Did you see that? Yes, he literally fell asleep twice. Once was during like, I think it was a commercial break. Lady Gaga came up to like hug him and say hello. And he was like doing the nod, when you're trying to fight sleep.
Oh, I know it.
And he had his head down slightly and his eyes closed. And she came up and hugged him and he went like this. It was so funny. It looked like the baby being woken up, like, with the arms out. And then there was another time that the camera just happened to pan over to him and he was doing the same thing. His head was like this. And then he got up and was like looking around like, "Whoa, did anybody just catch me?"
Yeah.
So I'm very excited now for the Super Bowl performance this Sunday. I think it's going to be great.
Same. I think you couldn't ask for better promo for the Super Bowl halftime show.
Truly. What are you doing for the Super Bowl?
Well, we're still in the planning stages right now. I think we're going to hang out at a friend's, but haven't solidified plans at this point.
Cute.
Go Pats. Okay, let's move on to Record of the Year, Geoff.
Let's talk about it. Well, we just kind of talked about it.
We did. We talked. This is the one that Cher presented, and it went to Kendrick and SZA for Luther.
Yes.
Record of the Year, we had both chosen Man Child, which I think this is maybe the time to mention that Sabrina Carpenter went home empty-handed last night.
Yeah, Cheto Grammys, a little bit of a surprise.
It was a surprise to me.
Considering the cultural impact that album had.
Yeah, Man-Child especially, I think, was like an absolute smash hit, So
yeah,
I was a little bit surprised to see it not winning anything last night. But, Luther is absolutely deserving. And it was the one that I think both of us had as number 2 in our predictions. So nothing too crazy there.
Yeah.
Okay, Song of the Year. This one was a little bit crazier.
This was a big surprise to me.
Yeah, this went to Wildflower by Billie Eilish. So this is off of, I think, the deluxe edition of an album that came out in the previous Grammy cycle.
Correct.
For which Billie Eilish didn't bring home any hardware.
Correct.
During last Grammys, this was like the whole album cycle for Hit Me Hard and Soft. She didn't win anything. And I think when we had talked about these nominations in a previous episode, Wildflower was like at the very bottom of both of our lists for this category. So this was like a huge shocker.
Yeah, it was a big surprise. This song definitely got like a lot of airplay and people really enjoyed it. It was definitely trending on TikTok at different times. But because it was almost like a deluxe version of the album, I was surprised, A, when it was nominated,
Same.
but B, I was surprised that this won. And I think that she and her brother were extremely surprised too, because her mouth literally fell open and she was like sitting in stunned silence for a few seconds after they called her name.
Right.
She looked completely shocked. Billie is like an industry an industry favorite and a Grammys darling. And so I think that people, knowing that she didn't get awarded last year, probably wanted to do something for her this year.
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, I don't even know what happened, right? Because there are some heavy hitters in this category. We got Doechii for Anxiety, which was a big song this year.
Which was a huge song.
I mean, I had DTMF winning for Song of the Year for Bad Bunny, right? And when he didn't win here, I was like, damn, I guess he's not really going home with one of the big four. Little did I know.
Little did you know.
We also had Abracadabra from Lady Gaga. I think that like the leader in the betting markets was Golden by Huntrix. Like that was by far the leader in the betting markets. So this was like a real stunner for me. And I don't even know how to like interpret this, to be honest with you. But good for Billie. And she did give a great speech, you know, Ice Out. We love to hear it.
Yeah, it's a great song too. I should say that as well. I do think it's really beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
No shade at all.
No shade at all to Billie. And the final of the big four awards is Best New Artist. And this maybe was the most predictable of the night. We both picked Olivia Dean in our predictions for this one.
Yeah.
Olivia Dean took it home. She gave a great speech, a very like poised. I mean, she was emotional for sure. I think that she was very thankful and grateful to be on the stage. What did you think of her speech, Geoff?
I think her speech was basically like, you know, immigrants make our countries and our industry great.
Right.
You know, that's a message I think that we can all get behind.
I agree. You know, and as a Brit, you know, she may not be in a position to comment directly on like American agencies, like maybe a lot of the other American artists
she
did.
is.
What I'm saying is that the comment that she made is applicable to both British and American culture, right? And I think that that was a smart move on her part, because I think that like, as somebody who has lived a lot of her life in Britain and grew up in Britain, which is also like it has a colonial background, does not have the greatest history with like...
They have the biggest colonial background.
Arguably the colonial background. So that's the point that I'm trying to get at here, is that like, this is something that transcends beyond like the specific American 100%. Thing that's going on right now.
The rise of anti-immigrant sentiment, thank you, is certainly not just happening in the United States. I think as a planet, we are becoming very anti-immigrant, which is wild to me.
Yeah. And in classic Olivia Dean fashion, she delivered that message in like a very warm and like nobody could possibly take this the wrong way type of way. Right. Yeah. So love her as a person. She was great. And yes, her performance was also great during the Best New Artist segment.
So good. She's great. I'm excited to see what else she does, because I think she's going to have a very good career. And, you know, I got to tell you, I am just like, damn, she's warm Thanksgiving music.
Yeah.
I love it.
The comparisons between her and Adele just keep stacking up. You know what I mean? You've called that Adele Thanksgiving core as well.
She is Thanksgiving music. Adele and Olivia Dean are Thanksgiving fall, cozy cashmere's, crackling fire vibes to me. And very different people. You know, I mean, Adele is like crass and brazen and very funny. And Olivia Dean has a very different personality, but their music is just soulful.
There's something there.
It warms thy bones.
Any other like below the line genre awards that you want to discuss? Geoff, you know I have a couple.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, if you have one.
I was a little bit surprised about Best Alternative Music Album not going to Hayley Williams.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be one of mine, Geoff.
Okay.
Listen, the Grammys, it's interesting. There's been, you know, 2 steps forward.
Yes.
Maybe 1 step back, right? I think that the Grammys, they are trying to be more relevant, right? And I think that whoever is in charge of the Grammys clearly doesn't think that rock and alternative music is relevant, because none of those awards were aired. They all happened before the ceremony happened. And repeatedly, we see questionable choices in those categories. And this is, okay, so we're talking about alternative music album, which I think both of us had chosen Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party by Hayley Williams to win.
Yep.
This ended up going to the new Cure album, which actually is their first album in a very long time. And, you know, all due respect to the Cure, this was a pretty critically acclaimed album, more so than like the Rolling Stones album that came out last year that ended up winning Best Rock Album. That was a bit of a misfire in my opinion. But this is absolutely still the Grammy saying, here's a name that we recognize. We love The Cure. I love that band. Like, let's give them the award over the young artists, right? And when the nominees came out in this category, I was like, oh, it's cool that they have like some actually cool new artists here that people actually like that are young. But then they always choose these like, you know, standby acts like The Cure to win the awards. And you know, all respect to The Cure, and apparently this album is good. I haven't really listened to it.
I haven't listened to it,
but it does feel Grammy's core that they chose this one here. So that's a bit
it
tough.
feels like they were like, old standby gets it next. It's a little bit lame.
In the same vein, best dance electronic recording.
This
it has to end, right? Like I even like this song, right? It went to End of Summer by Tame Impala, which both Geoff and I chose, but like there are better songs in this category. We chose this because we know that the Grammys love Tame Impala. I think like from a electronic music perspective, the obvious winner here is Victory Lap from Fred Again, which like really was a moment in the culture this year, like an absolute banger. I also think that Kaytranada has a chance, and so does Disclosure. These are like bigger, more legitimate dance acts than Tame Impala. Tame Impala, this is a situation where he made his first dance album and people recognize his name.
Right. That's exactly it.
Tough one.
I'm sorry. I need to get this off my chest too. This is bugging the shit out of me. Everybody needs to put some respect on Pink Pantheress' name because she should absolutely have won Best Dance / Electronic Album for Fancy That. It's a great album. It is a lot of fun. So many of her songs have gone viral. So many of her songs have inspired great memes. I mean, it's also just like good music and it's fun, and we need fun and levity. And like, you know, I think that FKA Twigs is very talented. It's not my style of music. It's not really my cup of tea, but I know that she's a very prolific artist and she does great work. But I just think that Pink Pantheress was like making dance and electronic music like popular again. And I really would like to see her get the kudos that she deserves.
Yeah, Pink Pantheress must have been number 2. That's the only potential reasoning here, because the other nominees here just like are not quite at the same level. And I haven't, you know, Eusexua apparently got really great reviews. I haven't listened to it.
Got very good reviews. Good album.
FKA Twigs is a respected artist, so it's cool to see her get a Grammy. So there's no shade to FKA Twigs.
No.
I do have more of a bias towards Pink Pantheress like you do, though. So that was a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah, you know what's also really cool about Pink Pantheress? The song Illegal that she did. She like sampled a song that was like an underground hit, and she like sampled it and used it in her music too, which was great. It's like those synth hits at the beginning of the song.
Oh, hold on. I wouldn't describe that as an underground hit. That was a very large song that was heavily featured in the film Train Spotting, the big film directed by Danny Boyle and starring Ewan McGregor. You familiar with that one?
The big film addicts that we've all seen.
It was like Danny Boyle's huge breakout. He's
who?
Danny Boyle. He's like one of the most.
I gotta look him up.
I've talked about him on the pod many times. He's director of 28
I don't
Years
know
Later.
People's names.
I'm just gonna. It's okay. But that was a large song, and
that guy. Okay.
It is cool that she brought back that like old school kind of like early 2000s rave banger, you know, into the modern day. I do love that song. On the rock music cringe note, one of the examples of award that you predicted correctly that I did not get correctly was Best Rock Performance. And you chose Changes, which is the Youngblood live performance. This is just like weird to me. This feels. I know
People
that
love Youngblood. I don't get it.
I don't get it at all. I don't get it.
I don't get it myself. I think he's a very kooky, spooky kind of dude. You know.
I think it's because it almost feels like a posthumous Ozzy thing, because like Ozzy and Youngblood had like a relationship and like they were buds and they like performed together a lot. So maybe that's why. But I don't really understand that at all.
Well, it's also like the aging folks who like really still love rock and roll music, like that he's respected by, you know, these icons of rock and roll music.
Maybe it is just like the median age of the Recording Academy, you know, and
I mean,
especially
the Academy is
voters.
still old,
right?
At the end of the day, like it's made up of there are more like producers. And, you know, it's also almost like a lifetime appointment. You know, so in a lot of ways, as long as you're like paying your dues, like you're still in the academy. So the academy continues to grow in size and diversify, but with more traditional categories that people don't necessarily listen to as often, the like age of the voting body, I think, is more prevalent in the choices that are rise to the top.
Yeah. I do want to give one rare Grammys rock music W, which is that Turnstile did win the Grammy for Best Rock Album.
Yes, which you pick, and you were happy about that.
I was so happy to see it. Cool to see Grammy winners Turnstile. Love Turnstile. I think when we talked about this, you said, who would even listen to those guys or something like that? So
I sure did.
Yeah.
And I was wrong. Oh, I should just quickly mention this. Was surprised by, but happy for, Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande winning Best Pop Duo / Group Performance for Defying Gravity. Did not expect that. I thought there was a lot of Wicked fatigue and people were over it. But, you know, I think they won that and deservedly so.
Yeah, I think it's a deserving win. Absolutely. It was a huge hit. I also thought that Wicked fatigue was going to play a part here. Like, this is an old song at this point.
Yeah.
And I chose Golden, which, you know, didn't win that many. I don't think it won any awards.
It did win Best Song for written for visual media.
Right. Of course.
Untelevised and like, you know, kind of a niche category.
And I think that was also a given, right? But
yeah,
it didn't win any of the mainstream, like, non-movie music awards.
It did not.
Which I was surprised about. So, yeah, congrats to Cynthia. This can't have been Ariana's first Grammy, right? She's won Grammys in the past.
Yeah, she's won a lot of pop solo performances.
Right. So, yeah, so this was not her first. It may have been Cynthia Erivo's first Grammy. Not sure.
I think that Cynthia Erivo is already almost an EGOT. I think that she has won everything except an Oscar.
Oh, she's won a Grammy for Best Musical Theater Album. Right. I always forget that there are categories.
I think for The Color Purple.
She's only missing an Oscar in the EGOT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty amazing.
I think that Steven Spielberg actually won the EGOT last night.
He won a Grammy?
I believe so. I think he won a Grammy for being a producer on some kind of like musical documentary. Could be wrong.
Yes, that's exactly right. He won for music by John Williams.
There are so many Grammy awards. This is something that I didn't realize until this year, is that compared to like the Oscars, even the Golden Globes and like the Emmys, like the breadth of awards that the Grammys award are just like really unprecedented compared to those award shows. It's physically impossible to televise all the awards. So I am sympathetic to that.
By the way, speaking of things that were not televised, we have to talk about this absolutely diabolical Grammys Music Cares, which is like the foundation, one of the foundations supported by the Grammys. They did a tribute to Mariah Carey. Justin, did you see anything about this or listen to any of it?
I've only seen what you sent me in the group chat, the video of it. Was Billy Porter performing.
Billy Porter
needs to be stopped.
You said it. You said it. Billy Porter was dressed, speaking of wigs, like an auntie. He was dressed like Whitney Houston, like in the early 2000s, a long white like coat, and he literally had like a wig on that was a mess. And he sounded crazy. He was hooting and hollering on that stage, and Mariah Carey was like pretending to be entertained by it and pretending to enjoy it. He sounded heinous. And Jennifer Hudson, who I love, and I think she's an excellent vocalist, and I still, you know, and let's not forget, she's an Oscar winner. I think she's close to an EGOT too. I think she just needs a Tony. I think that's right. I could be wrong. Anyway,
EGOT watch.
She sounded crazy too.
Oh no.
And I'm like, maybe these people were very nervous to be in front of Mariah Carey. Maybe they were having an off day or were ill.
She is famously critical of people who cover her music. That is true.
Which, you know what? I'm like, don't sign up for it. I'm dead serious. I'm like, don't agree to do it if you're so worried that you think you're not going to be able to pull it out. Like, just don't hurry up and don't. I'm going to need you to clock out for me, is what some of those producers should have said. I can't even believe it. It was so crazy, Justin. But I'm like, you know what? Where are the vocalists? Now, I'm not talking about singers. I'm talking about the vocalists who could actually cover Mariah. Where were they? Where was Miss Christina Aguilera? Where was Tori Kelly? Where was Kelly Clarkson? Where was B? Where was Kelly Rowland?
I think I'm having deja vu. This can't be the first. There must have been I think it was the iHeart Radio tribute.
Yes,
Mariah
that's
Carey.
right.
We had almost the exact same conversation.
And Tori Kelly did that one, and she was phenomenal.
Okay.
One of the only ones, by the way. But I'm just like, if you're going to cover the vocalist, get vocalists who could come close to, or be on par with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's just tough.
Well, Geoff, speaking of tough, I think it is time for us to talk about our award show competition here. And the reason I'm saying it's tough is because, quick drum roll, Geoff did take this one by 3 points, a differential of 3 points. It wasn't quite the massacre that the Emmys was, but it was not close. It was not close. Geoff, any victory remarks here?
Well, I'd like to thank all the people who continue to listen and gas me up every week and tell me how great this podcast is, because you give me the fuel to actually make these picks. And you also give me the drive to defeat Justin so that I can again pick a topic that he would never choose to do otherwise. And I already have that topic, Justin, in mind. I thought about it. I said, what will I do if I win the Oscars leg of this?
Oh boy.
Giving me a 2-1 victory. And would you like to know what that is?
If you want to tell me, go for it.
I do. We're going to be doing a deep dive into... shut up. You're already laughing.
I just can't imagine what this is.
We're going to be doing a deep dive into 3 of my favorite old ass mid-2000s Bravo reality TV shows.
Okay. I was worried you were going to say this. How many episodes are in each of these television shows? And I hope it's seasons and not entire shows.
I'm gonna pick. We're not gonna do entire shows, Justin. I'm not a crazy person.
Okay.
And we're not doing an entire show because, of course, I'm not gonna rewatch it all. That's really why we're not doing it. But I'm gonna pick like 2 episodes of each of these 3 shows for you to watch.
Okay, that is doable.
Very doable.
Okay.
One is Victoria Beckham Coming to America.
Yes, you've talked about this. I feel like I could even predict some of these. I feel like, but go on.
The other is Being Bobby Brown.
Yes, Bobby Brown. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then we're going to do Tabitha Salon Takeover.
Yes. Okay.
Give me a keys. I'm taking over. I'm taking over the competition.
Okay. I like this idea. This sounds fun.
It is going to be really fun.
We've been teasing this or talking about this since the reality TV episode, I think.
That's right.
We'll see. We'll see if you get the privilege to choose that episode.
I think I'm getting it. I just have a really good feeling about my Oscars picks.
This is echoing almost exactly last year. Yeah, it's going to be a close one. We should say, in the case of a tie at the Oscars.
Oh, have we discussed this even?
No, we haven't. We're doing this live on the pod.
Okay.
Should it just be like the differential, like how much we won from each of the prior award shows, or should we do some like sudden death tiebreaker?
Oh, sudden death! I like the drama of that.
Okay, we'll have to think about what that'll be. Yeah, we'll have to think about it. We'll get back to you, listeners.
Like a minor awards ceremony that we could predict?
We'll see. We'll brainstorm off the pod. We'll brainstorm off mic.
Yeah, we'll think about it a little bit. But it probably won't be necessary because I do think that I am going to once again dominate.
Okay, we'll see. I think it's going to be very close because we overlap a lot at the Oscars.
We do.
Okay, any final thoughts about the Grammy Awards?
Well, Justin, I think that we should make it our mission to next year be invited to do a red carpet pre-show. Dance pre-show on the Grammys Red Carpet, because I love music.
You do.
I think this could be very fun. We'd love to be on the red carpet.
It would be very fun for us.
Chatting to the stars.
We can replace Glambot guy,
Oh, he's absolutely canceled
now. He's out. We can come in. Just filter.
By the way,
right
we never talked about that on the pod, and I did mean to bring it up for a hot topic, but this was crazy that he people loved him, and then he was such a bitch to people in Instagram comments that he got canceled.
Well, apparently it was. I mean, this is like 2 of your favorite conversation topics here.
It is.
Glambot guy and J-Lo.
And
right?
J-Lo.
It was like he out-bitched J-Lo, basically, right?
Yeah. It's crazy. So basically what happened, for those who don't know, so Cole, the guy with the really handsome, Asian guy with long curly hair who operates the Glambot, which is that 360, fast spinning arm thing that's on all the red carpets. He is like a reputation for being super nice, and like celebrities like tend to love him
In all
and
his
are happy to
videos, he
stop and
is.
chat with him.
Yeah.
And he definitely appears that way. And so J-Lo at what was it? Was it the Emmys?
It was just recently. I think it must have been the Golden Globes.
It was the Globes, you're right. At the Golden Globes red carpet, the carpet had like shut down because it was so close to the start of the show. And J-Lo, of course, showed up late, and she was the last person to walk the carpet. And she like walked over, and generally these celebrities who've gone to all these shows and like done the Glambot many dozens of times now, like have a rapport or at least like a friendly working relationship with Cole, the guy who operates the Glambot. She said absolutely nothing to him, like ignored him completely, and just did her thing, turned around and left without saying thank you, which we all know is like so her MO. She is a fucking bitch.
Originally, it was just like, damn, classic J-Lo, so mean to people. Yeah.
Yep. And everybody was rallying for Cole in the comments. Like, he's so nice. How could she be cold to him like this? Blah, blah, blah. Then it turns out all of these people have reached out to Cole to like hire him to do their wedding or do whatever their events are. Being like, hi, like we were just curious, like what the budget is, you know, how much, what's the cost associated? How would this work out? Will we work with you directly or a company? And he is like kind of a condescending asshole in all of these things, and basically like looking through their feeds and trying to determine whether or not he thinks that they can afford it, and also being so cagey about how much it costs. And he's like, oh, are you like sure that you could afford this? It's many thousands of dollars. And there was this one lady who like, I mean, it sounds like she's probably pretty wealthy. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm that's why I'm trying to figure out what your budget is. And he's like, it was just like bad faith, bad form. So now Cole is getting a lot of shit online about it.
And he was not at the Grammys red carpet for that reason.
Damn.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's take a quick break and we'll go back to our past selves and talk about some what's goods, Geoff.
Sounds great. And we're back. Wow, Justin.
We are so back.
The Grammys were incredible this year.
The Grammys. Can you believe that they had the hologram of Prince? Really in bad taste, you know, in my opinion.
You know, that had A1 all over it. It was A1 powered holograms. I don't like it, Justin. It's not good.
Not the best. But Geoff, it is the time of the pod that we talk about things that are great.
That's right, Justin. And so I'd like to pose a little question to you that I pose every week at the end of our show. And I'd like to ask you, what's good?
Well, Geoff, I'm going to talk about some new music today.
How apropos.
I want to talk about an EP called So Much Country Till We Get There.
Oh.
This is a new EP from Manchester-based band West Side Cowboy. And first, I want to shout out the music outlet Hearing Things. This is a worker-owned outlet that arose after many of Pitchfork's employees were laid off by Condé Nast. And it's a worker-owned, subscription-based website that I contribute to. It's like easily my favorite place to discover new music. So I found out about this EP through this site. So check it out if you haven't already. I've mentioned them on the pod a couple times in the past. But this is a new EP from Manchester-based West Side Cowboy, which features 4 musicians: singer-guitarist Ruben Haycox, drummer Paddy Murphy, singer-guitarist Jimmy Bradbury, and singer-bassist Aoife Anson O'Connell. They are an up-and-coming band. They played Glastonbury last year, fast rising in the UK, and they're opening for Geese in many of their 2026 shows. So, you know, I love Geese, and that's kind of what drew me in. The review of this EP was like, oh, okay, so this is like Geese approved.
I'm a duck person myself, but
I think they're going to blow up this year because of that opening slot, right?
Yeah, definitely.
The vibe of this EP, and this is not really Geoff core, so I can imagine Geoff's reaction to some of this.
Here we go.
The vibe of this EP is kind of a mix of like Lumineers, Hey Ho, folksy vibes with like 90s pop punk.
Okay.
Sounds maybe not the best, but they're doing it right. So I'm going to talk about like one song that's in each of those kind of lanes. Okay. The first one is very much not Geoff core. It's the first track on the EP. It's called Strange Taxidermy.
I don't like that already. You know how I feel about taxidermy.
It features Aoife's vocals, and it's about Old Billy.
who, if you don't know, this is a bit of a sidebar. This is the oldest horse that ever lived. The horse lived to be 62 years old, and now there are 2 different taxidermy displays that display either the skull of Old Billy or the taxidermied skin of his head.
What?
And members of the band saw this exhibit, and it kind of prompted the writing of this song, which sounds insane. But the whole song is about death, right? Because this is like the oldest horse that ever lived. And, the singer is questioning, how hard that Old Billy worked, how many of his friends died, like if he knew that death was coming, if he knew when he was born that he was going to live to be 62. So it's really like a very thoughtful meditation on death. And it's like actually like pretty emotionally moving, which is crazy to say about a song that's about a horse.
I wonder how many friends you outlived, if any got to see you get old.
But give it a listen. We'll put a clip in as always.
Wow, you were not a horse girl growing up, and it shows.
Justin
said, "No, My Little Pony."
I'm mostly talking to you because I know that you are like, what the fuck? I can see it in your face. I know it because of who you are as a person.
This is an accusation that I fully reject.
So you love the Lumineers, is what you're telling me.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say I love the Lumineers. I would say they had their moment, and like, ironically, the ho-haying and the stomp clapping of it all is like kind of fun, but I'm not really actually going to be trying to listen to this on my own. But maybe this is like wacky enough that I would like enjoy it for that part. Like, it's comedic. Is it comedy?
It's not comedic at all. It's played very straight. You wouldn't know from listening to it that Old Billy was like a horse, right? I mean, it's just like a very dramatic, emotional song, and then
so
as
it's
you
not like
listen
a
to the
Meatloaf
lyrics,
style song where they're like being very literal.
Not.
It's not like, this is a song about Old Billy, the oldest horse who ever lived. It's not like that.
That's more Tenacious D than Meatloaf, I feel like. But no, it's not like that.
Well, Meatloaf and Tenacious D share like a lot
there's
of DNA.
Some shared DNA. Yeah, there's
so you're saying there's
overlap.
none of that in Strange Taxidermy.
Absolutely not.
By the band West Side
Cowboy. There's none of that in this song.
All right.
Very serious song about death, which I do actually really like. I know it's a weird combination of things I just said, but give it a listen. It's great.
Okay.
The second song I want to talk about is called Can't See. And this one is like a much more conventional like pop rock song. It's very high energy. It's like a song about the open road and about youth. It's like, we don't know what's coming, but we're going to get there. And I would kill to see it live. It has like this great breakdown part where the bass guitar and the chord progression really comes through. That's just like very energetic.
Don't need a head start. What is waiting for you? Don't need a head start.
Ooh, I love a bass solo.
So yeah, I would also check out that one, even if Strange Taxidermy didn't really hit for you, which is like maybe the more emo side of the band. Check out Can't See, because I think that one's a more kind of conventional rock song.
Okay, so Strange Taxidermy you've described as both Hey Ho Lumineers and as emo.
I don't mean emo in terms of genre. I just mean like just emotional, like dramatic. Yeah.
You're saying sonically this one is a little bit more emo, and Can't See is just like more fun, high energy. Like pop punk almost?
Yes. I would say definitely pop punk. It sounds a little bit Blink inspired, but
forever and ever
without that voice, not the nasal voice. Very like 90s, earlier in the 90s pop punk type stuff. A little bit more mature sounding.
Okay, when you say early 90s like pop punk, what are you thinking of in your mind? Like name some bands.
Well, like Green Day is out there. They did their early stuff isn't quite as nasally. Yeah, stuff like that. I think that like even earlier Blink, like I think that First Date and stuff, like we have this perception of what Tom sounded like, but like when Mark was doing a lot more of the singing in early Blink, I think that there's a different vibe there in the earlier 90s compared to like
very different.
Where are you? Like that's not the vibe of this stuff.
Where are you?
Exactly.
How come we've never sang Blink at karaoke?
Because my voice does not go as high as Tom DeLonge's voice.
That's okay. You can just take it down an octave. That's what I have to do all the time. I don't have a choice.
I mean, All the Small Things is kind of fun to sing, I guess. That's a classic karaoke pick, but I don't know. It's just not my vibe. It's not really a belter. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love Blink, but they're not like...
disagree.
Neither of them are really like Celine Dion.
Oh, well, yeah.
It's not even I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, which is my go-to
singers.
karaoke
They're
choice.
not like, oh, you do love that song and you do a great job with it. It's a great karaoke pick. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'll, next day my voice is always, my throat is just wrecked because of that.
Wrecked.
Okay. Jeff, speaking of good picks.
Yes.
I would love to know what your What's Good is for this week.
Well, have I got a show for you? You're going to like this a lot if you haven't watched it already.
I've heard a little bit about this show. Haven't watched it yet, though. So can't wait to hear more.
So this show is called Ponies, and it is on Peacock. Ponies is a semi-acronym for Persons of No Interest. So this is basically, it's a Cold War spy thriller. It's set in 1977, and this show takes place in Moscow. And it's sounds like a conventional show that's like, American CIA agents versus the Soviet Kremlin and their spies. But that kind of turns this like premise on its head pretty quickly. So basically what happens is there are the two leads of the show, Emilia Clarke, who we all know from Me Before You, Last Christmas, Game of Thrones, of course, and Haley Lou Richardson, who we know from season 2 of White Lotus. She played Portia, who was the assistant to Jennifer Coolidge's character.
Right.
And these two women are the wives of two CIA agents, and they both have jobs working in the American embassy as secretaries, because that's pretty much what women were relegated to back in those times.
Sadly.
Now in Moscow, there's like a basically unspoken but tacit agreement between the Kremlin and the CIA that the violence and the spycraft that occurs in Moscow only occurs between men. So it's just male spies against each other. They leave women and families, children out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point in time in the late 70s, all of the CIA agents and the Kremlin spies are known to each other. So they're not really able to conduct a lot of actual spycraft because they're all known. They're all persons of interest. So what happens is two of the CIA agents who are stars of the show are married to die under very mysterious circumstances. And these two women kind of smell a rat and think that there's some kind of conspiracy or cover-up going on because the story of how their husbands died doesn't make sense. So these two women decide to approach the head of the CIA office, who is played by Adrian Lester. He's a renowned British actor who's won the, what was it?
Laurence Olivier?
Thank you, Laurence Olivier Award, which is a huge deal. It's like basically getting like a Lifetime Achievement Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
But they approach the head of the CIA office in Moscow to like become the first female spies in the CIA. And they're like, we need to find out what happened to our husband. This will be our husbands. This will be a great way for us to clandestinely find out the truth behind their deaths and also provide service to the country. So the CIA director agrees to this, lets them go out in the field with very limited training, which he actually sees as an asset because they're going to make moves that, the Kremlin officers will not expect. And they certainly live up to this. They are doing lots of unconventional spycraft and bringing in all kinds of different informants. And I have to say, in addition to the show being like well done, the shooting is great, the wigs and the costuming is great. The acting in the show is actually so fantastic. Emilia Clarke gives an extremely, extremely lived-in performance with like no detection of her British accent at all. She sounds completely American, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
As somebody who loves accents, it is so hard to completely get rid of your accent.
We should have an episode where you would like do a tier list of British actor American accent quality.
Oh, I would love that. That'd be a fun mini-sode. Fun mini-sode. So she gives a great performance, and so does Haley Lou Richardson. I haven't seen her in a lot of things, really just White Lotus season 2. They both give great performances. The writing is great, and the needle drops in the show, incredible. It's like a great like foray into like American like music in the late 70s. It's like very rock focused. It's very new wave focused. There's some disco in there. It's fun. Some of the needle drops include songs by David Bowie, by Blondie, Fleetwood Mac, Elton John, ELO. It's great stuff.
Damn, music budget off the charts.
The budget for the show must have been insane. Like they had to know when they read this script that they were like, this is going to be a hit. And they were exactly right. It currently has a 96% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Damn.
And it also has an audience score of like 89%. It's very good. And I don't think it's gotten a lot of attention.
I mean, one of our shared interests is definitely like spy thrillers, and especially like Cold War spy thrillers.
Love it. Mm-hmm.
How much of this show, like percentage-wise, is it more comedy or more like traditional spy thriller type vibes? Like, where's the balance there?
I think that it is definitely more on the thriller side of things, but there are a lot of comedic elements because Haley Lou Richardson is very funny.
Yeah.
And her character is kind of written as like the comedic foil to the extremely serious character that Emilia Clarke plays.
Gotcha.
And her character in the show is called B. And I can't remember what I can't remember what Haley Lou Richardson's character is. I think Twyla. That's it. B and Twyla. They're really great. There's good guest stars too. Not a ton, but I don't want to spoil because that's part of the fun of it, is seeing these shows come up, people come up on the show. Yeah. It's good. I wouldn't say they're like huge names, but they're like big in the UK and also like character actors who Americans have definitely seen a lot of things. So it's great. I highly recommend Ponies. It's all capitals, Ponies, Persons of No Interest, streaming on Peacock.
Damn, I got to give that a watch. I love a spy thriller. I mean, there's been a lot of them, I feel like. There's like that Keira Knightley one that was on Netflix. And then the Eddie Redmayne one that was also on Peacock, I think.
Oh, that was good. The Foxhole? No, not
something
Foxhole.
In the Fox. I can't remember what it was.
The Jackals.
Yes,
Day of the Jackal.
Day of the Jackal.
That's what it was. That was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
I want to watch all of them, but there's so many. So much TV. Hard to watch all the TV, you know?
You should definitely watch Ponies. And it's only 8 episodes.
Oh, nice. Love to hear that.
I don't usually like it when episodes are less than 10, but this was perfect. There was not anything that they should have left on the editing floor. It was a great show. Great first season.
Well, Geoff, this has been a great episode of the podcast Bants.
We talked about so many things. I loved it. I had a great time, as always. We had a very positive exchange today.
Yeah.
No yelling.
It's not always like that. It's not always like that.
I only canceled you twice. That's new low.
Well, peek behind the curtain. We will be banking a Marty Supreme segment after this, so maybe there'll be a little bit more shouting there for the listeners later on.
Well, if it's anything like the movie, there certainly will be shouting.
And until we air that episode, listeners, we'll see you.
See you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
This has been Bants with Geoff and Justin. Bants is created and produced by Geoff Taylor and Justin Benavidez. Graphic design by Geoff Taylor. Editing by me, Justin. The theme music for Bants is the track Nebraska With You by Sam Day and is provided by No Copyright Sounds. Email us at bantspod@gmail.com with any questions, recommendations, or just to say hi. If you like the podcast, rate and review us on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. And tell your friends. Bye. I'm trying to record our preparing. That way I have more stuff to go for the bloopers at the end.
What about the claps? I miss doing the clap,
What do you mean the claps?
Well, we don't have to do it anymore because we use Riverside, but when we were doing the other thing, we had to clap at the same time to make sure we were on time. It was kind of part of the ritual,
What about the claps? Yeah.
What about the clap? What about the clap? Have you ever had it?
Thankfully, no. No.